Okay, this video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of investments, and more specifically, we're going to focus our understanding on capital gains. So the first question we need to ask is, what is capital gain? So basically, a capital gain, or commonly known as a profit, occurs when shares are sold for more than the break-even price. Now, we've just looked at break-even being no profit or no loss with your investment or the money on your investment. Basically, a capital gains is when you do make money on an investment. And we use the following formula. So capital gains is the total proceeds. All right, so that's how much you make minus how much it costs you to make. All right, now if that's going to be a positive number, you're going to have a capital gain. Basically, you also need to know that you can work out percentage capital gain on any profit, and that's given by the formula below, which is basically the amount you make divided by the initial cost of buying your shares multiplied by 100. All right. Important to note that on any capital gains, you need to pay tax. Now, basically, it's you're required to pay it on anything you make, but there are a few different rules. Okay, and there's a few rules here. All right, depending on how long you've had the shares. So if you've had them for less than a year, you need to pay the full capital gains. All right. If you've had them for at least 12 months, then you only have to pay 50% on the capital gains. All right. And here it says investors pay tax on taxable capital gain at their rate of taxation. So when we're looking at the rate of taxation, that comes from this table over here, the income tax rates. Now it's important to note that income doesn't just mean the capital gains. Okay, income, all right, as it says down here, income levels are not the amount of capital gains, but rather the total income of an individual for the financial year. So that's commonly known as any income or any money that they're going to be getting. So it won't just be on one investment. It's probably going to be part of their salary as well, or any other investments they're making. The total amount of money they make throughout the whole year is their income range. All right, not the capital, just the single capital gains on one investment. And we're going to explore a couple of examples of what that means. Basically, just before we go, the tax rate, all right, this here, okay, just simply means that the percentage of the money they've made, they have to pay the tax. So if they earn, say, 20,000 a year, all right, then 20,000 falls in between 18,201 and 37,000. 20,000's in there, so 19% of that money is going to be paid as tax for that year. All right, but we'll explore what that means later on as well. Okay, so let's have a look at an example question. There are a few different steps to this question, so just bear with me. It says, Mr. Keogh bought 1,950 shares at $3.14 and sold them a few months later for $3.78 each. If the brokerage fee is 2% and Mr. Keogh's annual salary is $92,000, calculate the capital gain, the tax to be paid, and the after-tax return. So there are three things we need to calculate first. So we're going to look at the capital gain first. Now, remember that the capital gain is equal to, I guess, our gains minus our costs. Okay, so the gains minus the cost. All right, in order to work that out, we need to work out what the gains were and what the cost was. So let's work out the initial cost. So the initial cost was 1,950 shares at $3.14. So that gave us $6,123, the initial cost. But remember, we're paying 2% brokerage. So we've got to pay 2% of our total cost, which is 6,123. Okay, that gave us $122.46. But remember, we also then have to pay a GST. Okay, so this is the brokerage cost, and then we've got to pay a GST cost on that. because remember this is buying shares. All right, so this is the process we've gone through. So then we've got 10% of our brokerage, 1, 2, 2, 4, 6. If you've forgotten how to do this, please revisit buying shares. So it gives us $12.24. So then we have to add all that up, all right, and that'll give us a total of $6,257 and basically 71 cents. All right, so that's going to be the total cost. Now, if we want to work out our gains, all right, so how much we're going to profit from it, or we're going to gain from it. Again, we've got our number of shares, and we've multiplied this by our new price that we sold them for, which was $3.78. That's given us $7,371. All right, but then we have to take away the brokerage fee, all right, which is now 2% of 7,371, all right, which gives us $147.42. Now remember, we're taking this away, all right, so I'm going to put a little subtract sign there. And then remember, we still have to do GST again, which is 10% of the brokerage, which is $147.42. So we're going to take away 14.74. And once we've worked that out, that's going to give us a total of $7,208.84. Now, to work out our capital gains, we've got to get our gains and take away the cost. So this now becomes $7,208.84, take away $6,257.71, which is going to give us a total profit or a total gain of $951.13. So we've worked out our capital gains. We've done that. Now we need to work out the tax to be paid. All right. Now this is where Mr. Keogh's annual salary comes in. So he earns $92,000 a year, which puts him in the tax bracket of having to pay 37 cents for the dollar. So for our tax, okay, Mr. Keogh has to go $951.13 because that's the gains that he's made. But he's got to multiply that by 0.37, which is 37 cents to the dollar. All right, which means of that $951, Mr. Keogh is actually going to pay $351.90 as tax. Now, if we want to then work out the after-tax return, basically the after-tax return, and I'll call it ATR, so after-tax return is our gains minus the tax. So this is going to be $951.13, take away $351.90, and that's going to give Mr. Keogh a total profit of $599.21. So you can see that this kind of example question has 3 different steps. First one, you've got to find the capital gain. Second one, you've got to find what tax you've got to pay on that capital gain. And the third one allows you then to work out the after-tax return, which is basically the take-home money in the end. So here's a practice question I'd like you to have a go at. It's very, very similar to the example question that we did with Mr. Keogh, but this time we're looking at a person called Cassie. Please feel free to pause the video, have a go. If you think you've got the correct answer, continue the video and we'll see how you went. Okay, so here are the answers. Basically, step 1, in part A, we had to look at the cost of buying the shares, which is exactly the same as what I went through in the example. All right, and we ended up with a total cost of $20,695.50. Now, step 2, we had to work out the profits that we've made from selling the shares. Again, we went through the same process and we worked out that our total profits are $26,347.32. Now, that means that we've actually made a gain of $5,651.82. A little bit better gain than what Mr. Keogh made on his investment. Now, we're looking at the total income. All right, for Cassie is $95,000, which means she falls into the same category as Mr. Keogh did. All right, so therefore we can use that tax rate to work out how much tax Cassie's going to be paying. Once we've worked out the tax that she's paid, we can then take that away from the initial capital gains and to work out the after-tax return of $3,560.65.